I'm not this, but I know that the world kind of views me in a way where I'm like this like Zen guy who's read a lot about Buddhism and Hinduism and meditates all the time and has like this like Zenness about him, which I guess is like kind of true. I do read like a lot of books about all of that stuff. Um, I'm definitely like at this level versus I think maybe what I'm perceived as far as that goes. But I do have a couple really good techniques for you guys to be able to master like having more focus inside your brain, which is just going to lead to like a number of really good things like having more awareness, having more ability to not get fatigued, being able to engage for a longer amount of time. So one of the main things that I do is, and I haven't done this in a while because it's kind of like a beginner exercise, is if you're having trouble focusing in the sparring round and or just in general, I guess, just in life, there is this Buddhist, I don't know if it's Buddhist or if it's some monk told it to me on YouTube because that's how we get all of our spiritual knowledge now is either going to church, which some people are into, or like learning about it on YouTube, which is kind of funny. But anyways, you focus on an object and that's all that you do for a certain allotted amount of time. You try not to let your brain go in a bunch of spins and thinking about a lot of things or whatever. You just focus and like a lot of them will do it on like a flower. You literally just stare at the flower. You try not to have any thoughts. You just sit there, you breathe, you look at the flower, and you try to do that for a certain amount of time. Then you add in a little bit more time, add in a little bit more time. And as tacky and as corny as that might sound as like a suggestion of something to do, it actually does carry into fighting because it makes it so that you're capable of having a thought and not letting it go down the rabbit hole. Where I know for me in the beginning of my career, a big problem of mine was I would be fighting and just get distracted about like stupid, dumb shit, which I know sounds crazy, but it actually happens. Like I've talked to a lot of fighters where they're just like, yeah, I got really distracted in that fight because the person smelled weird, or because I started to think about what I was going to do after the fight, or because I started to think about who was there watching the fight and how important it was to me. All of those things are just distracting thoughts. And if you haven't figured out a way to actually be able to counter those distracting thoughts, or at least maybe not like counter them, but at least make it so that they're not distracting and they're just, you know, like they say, floating through the sky like a cloud and you're just watching the cloud, or whatever meditation shit I saw on YouTube about that. Having that ability is really important. So as corny and as tacky as that might sound, that's a really big deal, okay? Another thing that I'll sometimes do in order, if I feel myself like getting really distracted in life or just in general, is I'll sit and I'll meditate and I'll let my thoughts do whatever they want, but I will not move a muscle, okay? That's like another really good exercise to just like force yourself to just be uncomfortable, to have a bunch of thoughts like, man, I really want to scratch my ear, and then resist that. And you'll kind of start to understand that in that resistance, the ability to just, like, you're not going to make that thought go away by resisting it. You're going to make that thought go away by just letting it go away. Which, you know, like I said, sounds like super corny and all of that, but it's really important, okay? The last thing that is a little bit more maybe up your guys' alley if you guys aren't into all of that stuff is picking a certain amount of time in shadowboxing or in sparring rounds or whatever and making it like this unprecedented amount of time that you would typically do it. So what I mean by that is, for me personally, when I'm going through my camps, I'll do weeks where I do 8 rounds in a row, like hard and very taxing, like very fatiguing on my body, but I start to notice that it's really super fatiguing on my head too, or in my brain and on my mind and in my ability to make decisions and all of that. So I will choose, like, I'll either shadow box for like a stupid amount of time, like 45, 50 minutes, and I'll just focus on the shadow boxing, or I'll do these rounds where I do my 8-round weeks where I'm doing 40 minutes of work, super engaged, super fatiguing, in order for me to be able to maintain that level of focus so that I can carry it into the fight. Because if you can stay focused for 8 rounds, which is 40 minutes, yeah, I'm not being an idiot and getting my math wrong there. If you can stay focused for 40 minutes, 15 or 25 or 9 minutes, however long it is that you guys fight for, that's going to be way, way easier. Whenever any of the younger guys ask me, like, hey, Corey, like, how do I get a little bit better in shape? Like, of course, like, you do more work. But also, you want to do work that fatigues this thing and the decisions that you have to make. Because when it comes down to it in fighting, it's about who's better at the skills. But not just who's better at the skills, but who knows which skills and can decide on which skills to use at certain times is what makes good fighters really, really great fighters. Because I know a number of people that can throw really good techniques, have awesome skills, but then when they get into the fight, they're distracted by some shit, or they can't, because they're distracted or they're tired or whatever, they're not able to make correct decisions. So that's what makes good fighters into great fighters. So those would be some things that I would definitely suggest for you guys to do. In regards to if you feel like you're getting mentally fatigued, or you want to be this pressure fighter, but like you feel like you can't really, you can like maybe do it physically, but you can't maintain that pressure mentally while people are trying to throw back at you. And then eventually you're just like, well, shit, I don't, you know, like they're just a little bit better than me. And you're collapsing into like this like kind of conceding to lose thing, which can definitely happen, but will happen less if you have an ability to let go of the distractions and stay mega focused on the fight, which hopefully you guys do some of those techniques, but if you don't want to, that's okay too. I found a lot of value in them. Good? All right. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure that you like and subscribe below. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, please comment. Let me know what you guys want to see more of, and I can make more of that content. If you found this helpful and you want to learn more, I just dropped my first, I did it again. What is wrong with me? If you found this helpful and you want to learn more, I just dropped my first instructional series. Make sure that you guys hit the link below. Finally, shout out to my sponsor Sheath that made all of this content possible. Peace.